Okay, 1979 Dodge Magnum GT with T-tops. I'm going to start underneath the hood on the fender tag. If it'll focus here for me. Alright, a couple cool things, interesting things also. There we got our A75, that is the GT, M27, M55, wheel flares and T-tops. I think it's N41, I believe that's the dual exhaust. And then we've got power windows and locks, power trunk release, etc., etc. Y83, if it shows up decent, there it is. That is new car sales service. Basically what that means is it's prepped at the assembly line to be sold, so which makes sense because I picked it up in eastern Detroit, probably like 100 miles from where it came from. A couple odd things. C18, that's the build date, which is December 18. Nothing weird about that, except in the door it's listed as November 30th. That's like almost 3 weeks difference. That's a big variation. I've seen a couple days every now and then, but that's a lot. I don't know what's going on with that. It's weird to me. And the other thing that I have no idea what's going on, 045670. I do not know what those codes mean. I haven't been able to find anything online. My 79 300, which is also a T-top car, has the same exact two codes. And that's it. And I've got a 79 Cordoba with just 2 sets of 3 zeros. None of the 78s or older have anything like that there. So if somebody knows what that means, please let me know. Alright, so that's kind of that. Since I have the hood open. You know, it's been sitting for at least 20 years. It's kind of rusty and crusty. Kind of see it. It's big chunky rust. I know it's hard to see in the camera, but it's not like just typical old rust or salt rust. It's just kind of chunky from sitting, you know, a very flaky, fluffy rust, I guess. Take a quick look inside. Blue interior is actually pretty decent, really dirty. Back seat is loose because I was looking for the build sheet, didn't find it unfortunately. So we've got delay wipers, rear defrost, air conditioning. That's cool. No tilt wheel, which is too bad. That's okay though. Cruise control. That's very cool. AM, FM, CB radio. The dash pad is in good shape. Like I say, power windows, locks. There's the T-tops, of course. That antenna, you can't really see it anyway, but it's really tall. It's about 18, it's a good 12 inches to 18 inches longer than a normal one. I'll show you the trunk since I've got that open. Not in terribly bad shape. Yeah, there's a lot of surface rust in there, and you can see water in there. We've had a lot of rain lately, so I gotta figure out where that's coming in and try to stop that, so when I park it in line with all the rest, it doesn't get any worse. I might actually drill in little weep holes in there to let the water out, just in case it does keep coming in. But pretty typical Decklid, big hole in it. You know, I've seen Decklids just as rotten as this that come from Arizona, so it's just, I don't know, just the way they are from there. I have something I have never seen before. That is a pair of broken torsion bars. Both of them were broke. I don't know how you break two. I've been doing Mopars for over 30 years. I've only seen 2 broken ones. And it said 2 in the same car. I started doing a little digging around and looking, and I couldn't figure it out. Then I noticed something over here on the passenger side. I don't know if it's going to show very well. It kind of does in the camera. But back here, I've got about a 2-finger gap. And up here, I've got like 5. The other side is perfectly even. I started looking, and I should have showed you where the hood was open. Forgot to do that. Oh well. But you can kind of see, I don't know if this shows up very well, but that Kmember bolt is bent back, and there's a buckle, if I can reach in here, right about there on the frame rail. It's got a kink in it. Well, I started digging and looking. Hasn't been hitting the front hard enough to bend that and shift that Kmember back. Well, that Kmember sits in there crooked, which then puts weird tension on those torsion bars, which can then make them break. And that's probably about when this car was put away, obviously, because they've never been replaced yet. The engine is shot, so maybe that all happened at the same time, who knows. But anyway, it's actually in pretty good shape. It's really complete. I'll do a little walk around here now. I'll try to hold the camera nice and steady for you. I buffed it and I gave it a bath after I got it home. So it's got a decent shine to it right now. That way it doesn't look so derelict. Or if you're a fan of Zoolander, derelict. Anyway, it's a candidate for a full restoration, of course. I think it's been driven pretty hard over its life. I'll show you one other thing up here. Because as I was buffing it, just about every panel has been worked on or painted. And up here you can see there's some filler cracked out. That's unfortunately typical on T-top cars. If they're driven hard, they'll start to buckle right at this, because this is a fairly weak spot, even though there is a brace that runs right through here on the inside. You know, they start to crack or whatever. Because the reality is these T-tops are put in very crudely. They literally laid a template over and then took a Sawzall and just cut, around that, and then they screwed and glued in some braces and put some T-tops in. So if these corners weren't cut really nice and smooth, they would have a tendency to crack really bad. And one of my other GTs has had cracks that were probably 4 or 6 inches long on all 4 corners. So. And that one was actually driven so hard the floor pan was starting to stress crack, so somebody beat the snot out of that one. Anyway, so there it is. It's like I say, it's a 79 GT with T-tops. I don't know how many T-top GTs were made in 79, but it's certainly not commonplace. I know 78s are super rare, but 79s maybe not quite as much. Either way, got a pretty good car. For a restoration anyway, you know, high output, high performance 360, you know, it's a loaded car. It's about as loaded as you're going to find for 79, you know, as far as Magnums go. So, I like it.